Ladies and gentlemen, I show the time is 10:01. Well, you need to get started. So I hereby declare this meeting of the Aeronautics Commission on the 11th of August called to order. Well, we need to record the members present and absent. Would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First Congressional District Commissioner Kevin Potter.
Here.
Second Congressional District Commissioner David Conway.
Here.
Third Congressional District Commissioner Charles Ortega.
Here.
Fourth Congressional District Commissioner Lindy Ritz. Fifth Congressional District Commissioner Blake Rainey.
Here.
At-large Commissioner Chairman Jim Putnam.
Here.
At-large Commissioner Jerry Hunter.
Here.
Moving on to the next item, approval of the minutes of the Aeronautics Commission meeting on July 14th. At this time, are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Let's call for approval, please.
Commissioner Potter.
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Conway.
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega.
Yes.
Commissioner Ritz. Commissioner Rainey.
Aye.
Chairman Putnam.
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, item 4, Airport Construction Grant Program. Mr. Nagabe, you're up. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, and Commissioner. We have 3 projects today for construction grant program. First project is at Mid-America Industrial Airport Pryor, and the project consists of taxiway and apron, pavement rehabilitation, and replacing the taxiway lighting system. I hope to see the PowerPoint. We have an amendment for this project that includes a change order to allow for additional crack sealing of the taxiway. The estimated additional cost for this change order is shy of $10,000, and it will be funded with shy of $9,500 of state grant funds and about $500 of sponsor matching funds. I'm standing for any question you may have for this project or change order.
So basically, this is just a change order?
Correct.
And
And just for the
a very minor
information.
amount. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, information only. Okay, moving on.
Second project is at Jones Memorial Airport, Bridgestone, and the project consists of constructing a new terminal building and installing self-service fuel. Based on the bids, the total price cost is over $1.2 million, and it will be funded with shy of $689,000 of EDA, Economic Development Authority funds, about $260,000 of state grant funds, and about $257,000 of sponsor matching funds. We have Mr. Mayor here, Mr. Rick Pinston. He has some word, I guess?
Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time. I'm privileged here to represent the city of Bristow and its citizens here today. On behalf of the citizens of Bristow, I would like to say thank you to the commission for believing in our community. By receiving this airport terminal grant, we can move forward in developing Bristow and making it a better and more productive place for everyone involved. This is just the beginning for our community and for our economy, and we plan to keep moving forward for a better Bristow and a better Oklahoma. And most of all, I want to thank all you guys for what you do for Oklahoma. You guys do more than people give you credit for, and I want to thank you all for what you all do.
Okay.
Thanks,
very
sir.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm standing for any question you may have for this project, but staff recommends approval.
So the state portion of that's $259,000?
Correct.
All right. Okay. Any questions? Entertain a motion?
I move to approve. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Potter.
Yes.
Commissioner Conway.
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega.
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey.
Aye.
Chairman Putnam.
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Next item.
Yes.
The last project is at Pauls Valley Municipal Airport, and it consists of constructing new taxi lane for the city's new hangar development. Based on the bids, the total project cost is over $571,000, and it will be funded with over $542,000 of state grant funds and over $28,000 of sponsor matching funds. We have Mr. Adam Marsh with KSA Engineering here. Absolutely.
Chairman, Commission, thank you for allowing me to speak briefly on the behalf of the airport. Unfortunately, airport manager was not able to make it today. He had a prior commitment. So we're very excited about this project. The airport, Pauls Valley Municipal Airport, just south of Norman, has seen a need for hangars, specifically box hangars. And through working with the commission, Ben and Grayson, we've come up with the development here to build a taxi lane and taxiway that will allow us to build up to 5 box hangars, 2 to the south and 3 to the north of this pavement. So, and like I said, I really just can't speak highly enough of your staff, of the commission, Grayson and Ben. We've been working on this project for over a year, and it's gone through many different iterations. When we finally gotten to a point here where we've got a very good bid number in, we're looking forward to construction. And on top of that, it won't have any state money, but Grayson has really helped us with the FAA and our federal partners to help us. We look like we're gonna get a grant coming through with the FY21 money, and then there's a future, we'll probably be coming back to you with a hopeful request for some money with the new hangar grant program that you guys are working on. So this has been a great project. Like I said, the state has been a huge help, a huge advocate. The airport was very reminiscent that he couldn't be here to give you his thanks in person, but hopefully I've done a decent enough job for him. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to help Ben answer those.
Any questions? Thank you for coming today, appreciate it.
I'm standing for any question you may have for this project, but staff recommends approval.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Director Artis, you have a need for someone to come on board.
Mr. Chairman, yes, item number 5 is actually administrative rules. As we mentioned in our July meeting, thanks to the legislature and the $2 million that we had received in appropriated funds, we're going to look on embarking on a new flight, a new journey of investing in vertical infrastructure. Vertical infrastructure specifically being the hangars that we gladly or desperately need at airports all across our state. It's not something we funded in the past simply because we didn't have the monetary ability to do it. We had funded terminal buildings, which was our one little foray into the vertical infrastructure environment. As part of that, we're looking to stand up the framework of this hangar grant and loan program. As I mentioned to you at the July meeting, we're having conversations with Secretary Gatz and potential infrastructure banks, also having conversations with ODIA, ODFA, the state's finance authority, on how can we go and partner with those entities on making sure that this money is going to be used as expeditiously and efficiently as possible and get the best bang for our buck at airports across the state. As part of that, we're going to need to move forward with changing our administrative rules. The framework of the program that we will bring to you at a future date in terms of the actual language for the administrative rules changes will be that 30% up to $300,000 OAC match for a grant. That means a $1 million project would be able to take full advantage of it. If it's less than $1 million, it would be 30% of the cost. If it's more than $1 million, we'd be capped at $300,000. For the loan program, very similar, $1 million facility. Our share would be 60% or $600,000 at the cap. So if it's less than $1 million, our share would be 60%. If it's more than $1 million, we'd be capped at $600,000 with a 10-year payback period and a 2% interest rate. That is what we are currently looking at. That's what we're going to propose in our administrative rules process. It's likely that we will have some candidates for the program coming before you at the October meeting. We do want to show good faith to the legislature that we are moving forward and quickly to expend these funds, making sure that they're going to be put into the ground and turning dirt as soon as possible. So before you today, I'd like the authorization for staff to move forward with the administrative rules process so we can kick that off and get moving down the flight path. But I will stand for any questions, commissioners.
Any questions? Okay, we get a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item number 6 is our disadvantaged business enterprise. We have to do this about once every 3 years to identify our DBE requirements to receive the federal money that we do for our preliminary engineering report program, our system planning dollars, or any of the other grants that we're going to take from FAA that are in excess of $250,000 a year. Looking about $11,000 to update these plans and goals. Staff recommends approval, and I'll stand for any questions.
We do this about every 3 years, right?
Every 3 years. yes.
Okay. Sounds like housekeeping. Any questions or comments? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.
Item number 7, approval to fill a vacant position for the senior engineer role. As you know, we've had 2 engineers in our past history. Dale Williams, I think most on the commission know, was a longtime engineer on the commission, and we've always had an additional engineer in addition to that. And so it's been about a year and a half since Dale's been around, and we feel like it's the right time to go ahead and replace that position with a senior engineer. We know Ben's doing Yeoman's work for us and doing a really good job, but given our expanded opportunities to help out airport sponsors, some of the additional programs we're looking to become involved in, we believe the time is now to go ahead and fill that senior engineer role. So I would request your permission to move forward with that senior engineer position.
Questions or discussion? Okay. I'll take a motion.
I move to approve. Second.
Call roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 8.
Item number 8, the Oklahoma Aerospace Forum. I believe this will be about the 4th year that we have held the Aerospace Forum in Oklahoma City. This is a great opportunity for aerospace entities to get together. We've spent many years not having an aerospace gathering since the days of the Oklahoma Aerospace Alliance. I believe the forum started up with a partnership between Intrust Bank and Jones PR back in 2017, 2018, and they've been doing several forums since then. It's a great opportunity. They reached out to us for a sponsorship. I believe we'd like to consider a sponsorship up to $3,000 for the Aerospace Forum. Would definitely recommend any of you that want to come to attend that. It's October 28th at the Oklahoma City Convention Center. I think they're expecting between 300 to 500 people show up. It's a great opportunity for aerospace to get together, discuss the current issues and the current strategies for how to move the industry forward in Oklahoma for the next 10 to 20 years, excuse me. So staff recommends approval for a sponsorship up to $3,000, but I will stand for any questions, and I would definitely encourage your attendance if possible on your calendars.
Any questions? Okay. I move for approval. Do we have a second?
Second. Second.
Call roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Paula, looks like you have quite an agenda today. A lot of folks are here to support you, it looks like, too.
Yes, they really
That's
are.
good.
They really are.
Good, I'd like to hear from them.
Good morning, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm so pleased to be here this morning. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we had a record number of grant applications this year, and as you see by the crowd in the room, we are really pleased to bring forth to you 50 grant applications for your approval today. The staff has worked diligently to go through these applications, to look at the thoroughness of their learning objectives, and to really bring forth a various group of grants to you that we think will serve the state of Oklahoma well. Because they are different types, we have grants that are from museums, from libraries, from public schools that are teaching AOPA high school curriculum, to universities, all types of grant, to a smartphone app, aviation app, all kinds of creative ideas to bring forth to you today. I would like to mention to you that I've had the opportunity this week to visit 2 schools that are our current grant recipients. On Monday, I went to Atoka Public Schools and for the celebration and the unveiling of their drone vertiport system. And if you pull up now in front of Atoka High School, in front of the flags and the marquee, is the landing spot and the drone. There's no question that Atoka has taken aerospace education and run with it. We have funded them for several years, very small grants, and they have taken that and built a very strong program. Yesterday, I was in Okmulgee for the unveiling of their Center for Aerospace and Technology Innovation. They took an old elementary school, remodeled it, brought in OSUIT, Green Country Technology Center, and are really doing wonderful things. And I think back, Okmulgee was the starter program with us about 3 years ago, and we bought them a drone. And now they are putting together a very strong regional program that I'm so proud of. So every time I visit these schools, I find myself wishing that you were there with us, because you've allowed them to plant seeds, but from that then they've taken off. And that's what I hope this group of people behind me here today, as we bring forth their grant programs, that you'll see how creative and what they're doing for the state of Oklahoma, because I think it represents the growth not only of the industry, but of the education, and I'm extremely proud of that. Our first applicant, the Ada City Schools, represented today by Mr. Chris Eckler. Their program is The Sky Is Not the Limit, Cruising Altitude.
Good morning, and thank you guys for your time this morning. Over the past few years, excuse me, our program has served over 2,300 students from pre-K through 12th grade, all thanks to the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission grant funding. This past year, we now have 15 students that have started their private pilot flight training. One of them was supposed to solo this morning at Ada Airport. So, and it's all thanks to you guys and all the work that you guys have done. A little bit about our program. We've started with our pre-K program which is called A is for Airplane. So that top left picture in our slide, we actually had all the students get a little balsa plane, and our high school students virtually met with them this year to label the parts of the plane with them. And on the final day, they learn a letter every week. So the week of A, that this spring semester, we brought them all out onto the playground, and we had our flight instructor fly over their playground, which the kids just went all kinds of crazy for. Other parts of our program, in the top right, we have our local EAA chapter who's sponsored with us to do the Young Eagles workshops, and each of the kids got to build a wing rib and talk about different aerodynamic properties. And finally, one of the best parts was this year we were one of 20 schools in the country that were able to do the capstone project, and the only school in Oklahoma where our students were able to do their own research project. So in the bottom left corner there, we had 2 students that were interested in aerial applications. So they went out to the Pauls Valley Airport and met with a gentleman to learn more about that and the science behind all of that. This year, what we're hoping, and we've also had 5 students, well, this slide's a little outdated. It says 4 students have passed, but as of last week, we had our 5th student pass their private pilot written exam with an 83%, which is outstanding for them. This year, we're hoping to continue our elementary aviation activities, provide 10 teachers at our 3rd and 4th grade center Civil Air Patrol membership so they can bring aviation education into their classrooms as well. Continue to provide rigorous professional development to our STEM teachers by going to the AOPA STEM Symposium and AOPA curriculum training in Frederick, Maryland, and to continue to allow our students to progress towards their private pilot certification before graduating high school. Thank you.
The staff recommends $12,220 for the Ada City School District program, and we will stand for any questions.
Any questions?
Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Eckler.
Thank you.
Next is the Air Force Association of Central Oklahoma, represented today by Jeff James and his program, or their program, StellarXplorers.
Morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you very much for having us here today. On behalf of the Central Oklahoma Garrity Chapter Air Force Association, Janelle Stafford, our president, couldn't be here today. She's at Tinker in the Prime, so he got me instead. So we want to just talk about our Air Force Stellar Explorer program that has done tremendous work this year. We had over 13 teams in the state competing with 214 teams across the United States. We had 2 teams selected that went to a 10-team finals. And out of that, the top 3 teams in the nation, Oklahoma has number 2 with the folks at Francis Tuttle. So they did an outstanding job in their competition. We were then selected as a pilot program for a Stellar Camp, which was the first time that they were able to put those together this year. And we had a successful camp for a week of training with about 20 kids. And we had some really tremendous guest speakers that got to talk about space, as this program teaches high school kids on what does it take to get a rocket in space, whether it's payload, fuel capacity, fuel consumption, orbiting, conducting a mission, and oh, by the way, they have to use a budget, and they have to make it under the budget and come back. So there's a lot involved with what they're doing, and the kids are learning really good. So we're hoping next year that other than the one Stellar Camp that we were able to put together this year, we should have at least a few more throughout the state and bring more kids involved into space exploration.
Thank you, Mr. James. The staff recommends $4,200, and we'll stand for any questions.
Thanks, Jeff.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Test, oh, there we go. Point of order, first and foremost, this is a consent docket for the public. The commission has the opportunity to vote on each of these individually or as a group, or if they'd like to pull any of them out, they are welcome to do so. I just wanted to mention that. Also wanted to mention that I think we have Senator Brenda Stanley in the audience supporting.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Senator, for joining us today and supporting this program.
Senator, if you'll step right here, I'll just get your picture, and then you can go back to Tinker in the Prime.
I have enough badges on today.
Okay, Commissioners, you're gonna be right in the back there. There we go. Thank you.
A bit of a discussion up here. I'd like to hear what the folks have to say about their programs, and I know that a lot of them come to say to give us that information. But at this time, I would recommend that we vote them as a whole, unless anyone wants to break them out individually. And if you do want to break it out individually, just sing out and we'll do it. But otherwise, let's proceed. And I appreciate you all coming today. I think these things are really important. And Jeff, thank you very much for what you're doing with Stellar Explorer. I know the Air Force Association really appreciates it. Okay.
Thank you. Our third applicant is Alvin Public Schools, represented today by Mary Tyree. Their program is Aeronautics and Technology.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. And on behalf of Alva, I'd like to thank you for funding our program the last 2 years. This is our 3rd year, and we have increased with students each year. So now we have 28 students that we are working with, which is a good amount from our high school. And we have been able to take them to the Tulsa Community College and see their aviation program and really open up their eyes to what they can accomplish career-wise, because it's not just the regular nurse, doctor, police officer. Like, they're seeing actual, we did the air traffic controller and the pilots, and they got to actually sit in on the simulators, and we now have some simulators and drones that they can work with. So you guys have helped us. As you can see, we do rockets, and we have sensors in those rockets that they're able to get readings from. And we did hot air balloons and airfoils. We have a wind tunnel to get drag and lift from those airfoils that they made. And they also did the balsa air models. And that took a long time and a lot of patience, but they worked through it, and they've really learned through these hands-on experience that you guys provided them with everything in the aviation field. And we do have the AOPA curriculum now. So everything that we've been doing really correlates with that, and I think that we're really gonna be able to give them that experience to move on towards their pilot license, or we have people that wanna be commercially drone pilots, so I just wanted to thank you guys for this opportunity.
Thank you. The staff recommends $3,000, and we'll stand for any questions.
Have you sent any of your teachers out to Frederick for this curriculum?
No, we actually had to do all of the training online.
Okay,
Yeah, they didn't have it available.
thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, all of AOPA's training this year was virtual because of COVID.
Okay.
So,
But we
Make-
did do all of that training.
Great,
yes.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Thank you for coming, appreciate it.
I have the pleasure of representing Atoka Elementary School. It was their first day of school today. Atoka Takes Flight 3 is an aviation program that serves pre-K through 5th grade students at Atoka Elementary. Grant funds will provide materials for hands-on aerospace and aviation activities, where students will be introduced to the concepts of flight, vocabulary, aerospace principles. The activities always culminate in Aviation Week, where they bring in guest speakers and visit with students about career pathways. As I mentioned, I had the opportunity to be in Atoka on Monday, and they are definitely working to build strong aviation education programs. The staff recommends $2,082, and we will stand for any questions.
Sounds like getting a bang for the buck on that one, thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Thank you. Next, Cameron University, represented today by Dr. Ann Nally and their program Aerospace and Applied Math Summer Academy for middle school girls.
Did we miss number E? Boys and Girls Club, right. That's right. We don't want to leave anybody out here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Carly Johnson. I'm with the Boys and Girls Club of Oklahoma County, and we're requesting funding for our Pathways program. To help ensure students in Oklahoma County have the resources and opportunities to become inspired learners and prepared leaders who can solve the challenges in a world of emerging STEM careers, we provide a Pathways program during our after-school programming and our summer programs that focus on providing middle school and high school students with the tools they need to succeed post-graduation. We collaborate with industry leaders, educators, and aerospace companies to raise exposure and awareness of careers in aviation and aerospace that are rapidly growing in the state of Oklahoma. Additionally, this program utilizes drones, our flight simulator, and other educational opportunities in order to help reinforce the necessary science and math skills needed for careers in aerospace and aviation. The program kicks off at our annual Flight for Futures event in September, where members interact with employees from the Boeing Company and participate in a hands-on STEM activity. Funds from the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission will be specifically used to help purchase DJI Mavic mini drone kits in order to help members gain exposure on building, coding, and flying drones. Approximately 100 middle school and high school students will be served through this portion of our Pathways program. We're thankful for the support of the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission and look forward to partnering with you in the future on this project.
Thank you very much. The staff recommends $3,000 and will stand for any questions.
Thank you for coming today, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Now,
Now.
next, we have Cameron University.
Sounds good.
Dr. Nally.
Thank you for allowing me to come today, and thank you for the support that you've given to our summer academy in the past. When I was a child, growing up in World War II, when a plane flew over, we ran outside to see it, and that wasn't very often. And as I grew up in my career, I went to Cameron to teach, and there's not many programs down there. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that I hope to do in this next year. I'm going to work with the teachers and try to get them to write more grants. I completed my 29th summer academy at Cameron this last year. Not all from funding from you guys, I wish I could say, because I ask everybody. There's nobody that doesn't get asked. And so I raise lots of money every year, and the regents won't fund my summer academy for girls. So I have a summer academy for girls in aerospace engineering and applied mathematics. And the regents say, you cannot diversify. You have to diversify. You can't just take one gender. So I found out about your program, and I started this. When I started, I got funding through the Mathematics Association, and that's why I have mathematics in it, but it makes sense because you have to have mathematics to fly, and that's what we're all about. We teach a one-week summer academy, and we had to skip it last year because of COVID-19. So thank you for what you've done for me and why we were able to do the academy this summer. It was not a residential academy. I bring my girls in 6th, 7th, 8th grade because what I want them to do is to grow up thinking that they are collegiate material and that they can compete. And boy, do they compete, because I do the same mathematics in my high school academy, what I do for them, which is funded by the Regents because it's both girls and boys, but I do the same thing for these 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls. And men, they find out they can do that mathematics. They know about Newton's law, Bernoulli's principle, and all the principles of flight. And then they build airplanes. I had funding from Boeing for a while, and I had a speaker from Boeing every year who told them that flying must be beautiful. And man, these girls go and run with it. So they design beautiful airplanes, beautiful rockets, and they spend a week learning about flight and building airplanes. We do a big rocket launch on the last day, and I bring in the parents because you want to get the parents convinced that these girls, and we have a Academy Quiz Bowl where they talk about the history of flight. We certainly bring in Mae Jemison. This year we brought her in virtually. But this academy, I can tell you, this is my 9th academy for girls because we had to skip last year. It would have been my 10th. And I think there's a picture coming up, maybe not. Is there not a picture coming up? Okay, there, okay. So that's what the academy looks like, and they all have a little, and by the way, I'm an artist in my spare time, and so the airplane on the front of it, there you see it down below. Don't talk about what kind of artist I am. But there's my airplane using mathematics to fly, and that's a girl pilot in it, by the way. And so, anyway, the girls, these are the activities they do. And usually we visit the science complex in Oklahoma City, and they do flight simulation. This time we had to do it virtually. And they build airplanes, they build rockets, and you can see the one little glider there, what we call the puff plane, how many sequins are on it. That's part of the aesthetics. So they get judged on their airplanes at the end, and they're judged on two things: how well they fly, and I bring a lot of electronics into it. We have an altimeter where they measure the height. This year, but we had a lot of wind on the day we launched the airplane. The airplane flew into the building. I didn't know Cameron's building. I thought I had a beautiful science complex until I found out that the rocket penetrated 6 inches into the top floor of the building. And then I found out it was a foam thing that they had on top of it to make it look pretty. So my airplane, because it's a tall building, and it flew in and 6 inches into the... Anyway, thank you guys. This is a great opportunity. We visit the Science Museum, and then we do Frontier City, and they do physics of flight. Physics of amusement parks. And Frontier City always comes out and takes pictures of them. This year we didn't get to go, but next year we're all systems go for face-to-face and a residential academy next year. So thank you again for listening to me today. This is a great opportunity, and I hope to have lots of little girls. As a matter of fact, half of my girls already are either going into STEM sciences, and 2 of them already have their pilot license from the first 2 years. So
Awesome.
Thank you again. Appreciate all you do for flying in Oklahoma. And this is I've grown up in aviation in my life, and I love it. I went from walking outside to seeing my airplane flying over to becoming a 1,000,000-miler on American Airlines. I'm a 2,000,000-miler now. They treat you pretty nice once you make that level. Thanks again. Any questions?
Yeah.
Any questions? I don't think we dare ask.
No.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
Staff recommends $2,000 for the program. Thank you. Our next applicant is Canadian Valley Technology Center. Their program Pre-Engineering and Digital Media Technology, represented by Don Wilson.
Good morning. I am here to represent Canadian Valley Technology Center and our pre-engineering program. We're trying to add a program this year. We're trying to add this hands-on aerospace component to our program. And some of the things that we're going to do to accomplish that is we're going to, in addition to our pre-engineering curriculum, we're going to add the RAD-C competition, which is a drone competition where the students build drones and fly drones. We're also we already are doing drone training with our students, and the end culmination of that is that they can receive their small UAS certification. But we want to augment those opportunities with first-person point of view type flying opportunities with a drone, but also with our virtual reality system, along with Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we have a lot of plans. This is our first year to add this aerospace component to our pre-engineering program, but we are very thankful for the funds to help us accomplish this goal.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Staff recommends $7,500 and will stand for any questions.
Questions? Thanks, Mr. Wilson, appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, please welcome Deer Creek Public Schools, represented today by Holly Blunk and their high school aviation program.
Thank you so much for having us today. At Deer Creek High School, we are excited to be able to offer aviation as a class as a second year this year. As Oklahomans, we know that aviation and aerospace represent the second largest economic sector in our state. As educators, we understand that our teenage learners need continually more access to a broader range of career interests and professional options in our changing world. Our aviation course at Deer Creek allows us to do just that, using the curriculum designed by the Aircraft Owner and Pilots Association to both inform our students of the history of aviation and aerospace development and to provide lift for their aeronautical interests and aspirations to begin to take flight. A grant from the OAC will allow us to add flight simulation to our aviation courses, bringing both the theory and the practice of controlled flight literally into our classroom. This year, we also plan to continue our virtual visits, bringing professionals from all different sectors of the aviation community into our classroom via technology for short presentations, followed by a question and answer session with our students. And we were able to offer introductory flights to our students this year as well. And we look forward to continuing to connect with our local aviation community. We're so thankful to the OAC for partnering with our students, and we look forward to growing the wings of our program together in the future.
Thank you. Staff recommends $7,000, and we will stand for any questions.
Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask either Paula or Grayson, I'm curious, are metrics being followed for students that go through the programs that we're approving or not? But where do they go? So the money that we spend on education, are these students 20%, 50% going into STEM, engineering of any kind, or aviation?
Well, I think the AOPA, those schools that teach the AOPA high school curriculum do turn in specific information. As you can probably imagine, it's very difficult to track high school students after high school. But they do, AOPA does ask for that information as those students are leaving, what their plans are. Now, as far as compiling those metrics for us at this point, it's early on in the program. As Mr. Eckler mentioned, you know, only one school has completed the 4-year pathway. Right. And so as we continue to move on, I think that is a very worthwhile endeavor for us to know how these funds are impacting the industry, yes.
Absolutely. I was thinking about the doctor from Cameron had followed her students, at
right.
least a couple of them. And so it would be nice to develop some sort of mechanics to follow the students.
That's an excellent suggestion. Yeah, I think that's excellent.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Then please welcome Drumright Public Schools, represented by Superintendent Ashley Davis. Drumright takes flight.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. Drumright is seeking an initial funding for our program. This would be our first year to implement it. We are seeking to begin with our 9th and 10th grade students teaching the AOPA curriculum. To support that, we want to encourage all of our kids from pre-K up, and as a result, we are planning all sorts of curricular implementations to implement aviation technology, aviation terminology and aviation careers into all aspects of our school. We are seeking a partnership with Cushing Airport. We were fortunate to have a teacher on our staff that's a math and science teacher that is also a private pilot who is going to be teaching the AOPA curriculum to our students. So I welcome any questions you might have.
Excellent. Staff recommends $5,000 for Drum Right Public Schools program, and will stand for any questions.
Ms. Davis, that's about 400 folks, potentially?
Correct.
That's awesome, all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Duncan Public Schools, represented today by Tammy Bennett, and their Take Flight program.
I'm Tammy Bennett. I'm the STEM coordinator for Duncan Public Schools. We do have STEM from kindergarten all the way through high school. We are seeking some funding to help build up our STEM program for flight and space in the middle school. They do have a curriculum from Project Lead the Way already, but we are trying to incorporate the unmanned drones into that program, and so we're seeking money to fund that. We do not have flight and space in elementary, so we are looking for funding for some of the curriculum through Project Lead the Way to help with our elementary. We're also partnering with Chris Billings at Duncan Airport, and he's going to be helping us with going on some field trips out there and doing some of the simulation stuff out at the airport.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Staff recommends $4,000 and will stand for any questions.
Have the Duncan Public Schools considered the AOPA curriculum at all?
We are working towards that. I've looked into that already, and I'm in the process of talking with our administration about that.
Okay.
Our problem is trying to find a teacher.
Yes.
Thanks, Ms. Bennett. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Next, Durant Public Schools, represented today by Hallie Hughes. Durant, Aviation Inspired Recruits, AIR.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. This is our pilot year for this program. We're going to provide Project Lead the Way curriculum for our middle school students and the AOPA You Can Fly curriculum for our high school students. Our goal is to put Durant Lions in the air or in the sky. And through this, we hope to promote this program, since it is the pilot program, through exposing our students to some field trips. We have a regional airport in our city, and many of our college students in our city, we have a program, an aviation program there. We hope to bring our college students in to speak with our students and visit with them. We also hope to visit some of the museums across the state with our high school students. We also want to bring in women in aviation. We want our female students to be able to register with that program and hopefully participate in some of the programs that they have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Staff recommends $4,500 and will stand for any questions.
Looks like this is your first year for the AOPA curriculum?
It is, and I hope to have lots of pictures next year.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Yes.
Hughes. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Next, East Central University, represented today by Dr. David Thornton. OK is Aviation. ECU Tigers Can Fly.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. I am the director of the Institute for Math and Science Education at East Central University. It began in 2017 as part of the education department. And our goal is to help science, technology, education, math, engineering, math, and bring it all together and help the teachers become the best teachers they can. I have a couple other slides. If you could go to the next slide. Thank you. You can see our vision, and pretty much that's what I just talked to you about. We offer workshops, professional development, and try to house a lending library that is growing every year. I just added some drones and a drone cage with some obstacles as well this past year, which will be new. And so those are some things that we do. You can see, actually it's not real clear here. We have a bunch of trainings throughout the year. And this is our schedule for this year. And in the highlighted yellow is the summer camp that we would have, made possible by your funding, your donations to us, and that would be something that would be really appreciated. We would look to take teachers and students bring them into East Central for a day, use the airport there in Ada as well, and also co-oping with Ada High School and Paula Keedy to explain the APOA curriculum and make sure that all the teachers are aware of it and that the students can see some careers that are possible in aviation. I think that's the last one, but I'm not positive.
Okay, thank you. Staff recommends $1,750 and will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
Next is Edmond North High School Junior ROTC, represented by David Weingartner.
Good morning. I am Major Eric Weingartner, Air Force retired, served for 23 years in Air Force. My background is aviation, both fixed and rotary wing. I have 5,000 hour ATP, MEI, and CFII. My team, I lead a team of 3 at Air Force Junior ROTC at Edmond North High Schools. We do participate in StellarXplorers as well. And so I have someone who's a controller for the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant retired, and life support. So I have a team of 3 that are very aviation focused. With that in mind, we've been pushing the aviation in the last year. You can see up there on the screen, we have 2 VR-ready computers using the Oculus 2 Rift headsets. Ethan Penka, who's in that picture, is one of our 4 cadets who are in their private pilot certificate this last summer. That's funded by the Air Force, $22,500 private pilot certificate for 4 of our junior ROTC cadets this last summer. So we have a good, strong track record of pushing aviation at the high school level. We're going to continue to do that. This is our first time partnering with OAC. I'm being very aggressive, but I want to be able to, with the Air Force's focus of pilot training next 2.5, I want to meet the kids where they are. They're in the computers, they're on the VR headsets, so that's where we want to go, is we want to model after Vance Air Force Base's simulators. And you can see from there, we're going to try to do that at a much more budget point than what they are doing. They're on their 3rd iteration of simulators, so students can practice when they are not flying on the flight line, learn where everything is in the pattern, and so that when they actually get time in the air, they can make very good use of that time. So I want to begin that at the high school level, get them interested in aviation so they can pursue that at the college level, and then into the military services, whichever branch that they choose. So thank you so much for this opportunity. We are very thankful for it, and we're going to do our best to support aviation in Oklahoma.
Thank you so much. Staff recommends $12,500 and will stand for any questions.
This is your first year for this?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
Questions? Thank you, Major. Appreciate it.
Next, I'm happy to represent Elmore City-Pernell Public Schools in their program ECP Taking Flight. Theirs is a pre-K through 12 aviation education program, and they are also a new school to AOPA curriculum. However, they are not taking the pilot pathway. They are taking the UAS pathway and are developing a vertical drone program in Elmore City, Pernell Public Schools. They hope to work toward their Part 107 certification. I'd be delighted. Today also was their first day of school, so I'll be delighted to stand for any questions for Elmore City, Pernell. The staff recommends $8,300.
So they're rolling into a 4-year program?
Yes.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, we have First Robotics, represented today by Melinda Taylor.
Good morning. Thank you guys for allowing us to be here. I'm the Regional Director for Oklahoma First Robotics, and we have over 2,000 students, grades 7 through 12, that are in our program. And last year's theme had to do with Star Wars, where we went for the Force for Change. And every year we have a different theme that we go for this year is transportation. And so we do expect to see some airplanes and everything in that going forward. So I'm just making this short. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Staff recommends $7,500 for FIRST Robotics, and will stand for any questions.
Thanks, Ms. Taylor, appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, Girl Scouts of Eastern Oklahoma, represented by Jamie Christensen, Up, Up, and Away.
Hi, thank you. My name's Jamie Christensen. I'm a STEM strategist with Girl Scouts of Eastern Oklahoma. We represent 6,000 girl and adult members in 30 counties on the eastern side of the state. Our mission is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world and our skies a better place. And we do that through a leadership experience that focuses on outdoor skills, life skills, entrepreneurship, and STEM. And today I'm here to talk to you about our Up, Up, and Away program. So next slide, please. This program is a multi-event flight-themed program. Which provides experiences for girls and our staff-led and Girl Scout Beyond Bars troops. These are girls who wouldn't be able to participate in a traditional troop experience due to things like poverty or parental incarceration. We are able to harness community resources and partners like the Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance, Starbase Oklahoma, and Oxley Nature Center to teach girls the wonders of flight through investigating gliders in nature, balloons, parachutes, helicopters, planes, rockets, and drones. And we provide field trips to nature centers and science museums, camping experiences, and social emotional development, hands-on inquiry-based experiments, and utilize STEM professional mentors. So thank you so much for your partnership in making this possible and inspiring the next generation of leaders and trailblazers.
Thank you, Ms. Christensen. The staff recommends $2,000 and will stand for any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm also happy to represent Grand Aces Aviation Ground School. Grand Aces is a returning program that provides scholarships for 17 to 24-year-olds in northeastern Oklahoma. The program provides ground school materials and supplies for a 6-week ground school course that is designed to prepare students for the FAA written test. They have a very stringent scholarship application, and they're trying to make this a program open to young adults in northeastern Oklahoma. Staff recommends $2,250 for Grand Aces Aviation Ground School, and I'll stand for any questions.
This only serves 6 kids?
Yes. And that's how many were served last year as well. Any other questions? The next program is Guthrie-Edmond Regional Airport, represented today by Shalon Stanley.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. How are you guys doing today? Appreciate y'all having me here today. At the Guthrie-Edmond Regional Airport, our summer aviation program is usually the month of June or July. We have 20 students. We've had approximately 15 repeat students since we started this program 4 years ago. This will be our upcoming 5th year. We team up with the Sooner Flight Academy and the EAA, which is the Experimental Aircraft Flight pilots, and they come out and help us with our program. The first day is consisting of the principles of flight, phonetic alphabet, and then they build a rocket and learn what forces act upon that to get that to fly. They learn parts of the aircraft and radio phraseology. Then the next day, the EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association, they will come out, give all those kids that went through the program a ride for free in the aircraft. So it really makes for a really neat program. We're really excited to have this and ask for your consideration. Thank you.
Staff recommends $1,350 and will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Stanley, appreciate it.
Thank you. Please welcome Kingfisher Public Library, represented today by Audrey Sanders, Library Flight School.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Our goal is to educate the youth on airplanes, aeronautical maps, and instruments in radio and flight, and history of airplanes, piloting by aircraft by using our Microsoft Flight Simulator as well as other programs. We will also introduce the youth to various career paths they have in interests, and the aeronautics, or space, or other related fields. We'll be using connected learning as well as computational learning with teamwork and group activities, while fostering leadership skills for the youth. This program is a great opportunity for our youth that may not have any other way to experience this, be whether financial or unknown obstacles in their life. With this program, we will be able to introduce the wonders of beauty of flight to the youth. Thank you, Commissioners, for thinking of us. Libraries are not usually normally thought of doing this type of program. We're kind of one of the unique ones out there. My director did this program back in 2009, and we're just reviving it again. So, thank you.
Thank you. Staff recommends $5,000 and will stand for any questions.
This your first year to get it going again?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Next is KISS Institute for Practical Robotics and their Bot Ball and Junior Bot Ball Challenge, represented today by Steve Goodgame.
Commissioners, really pleased to be here again. You know, I don't have to tell you, it was a hard year last year. When you do hands-on robotics and COVID hits and you can't do in-person events, it makes it kind of tough when you're working with robots. So we did a pivot and we switched to virtual. We developed a bunch of software with online tools and resources aimed to keep supporting the teachers that are doing these programs. When you guys come to our events, you see a big public event like a competition with thousands of people there, but what you don't see is what's going on in the classrooms. So with this virtual tools we developed, we were serving 3,800 kids a week with the simulator. The demand was so big that we had to amp up everything we were doing just to support it. So we continued, we pushed through and we made it work. We're hoping this year that we're gonna have in-person, but I can also tell you we've upped our simulator game. We now have a full 3D customizable robot with full sensor feedback and everything on it that we're gonna release. Any teacher in Oklahoma can use it for free, 100% for free, because we see the demand and the need for the classroom teachers to do that. So I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Staff recommends $10,500 for KISS. We'll stand for any questions.
Looks like you've been doing this for a number of years now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you much.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure also today to speak for Maysville Public Schools, who would like to initiate an aerospace discovery program and to bring aviation education to the forefront in Maysville, the home of Wiley Post. And they want to really begin the pathway there with their elementary schools and move to 5th through 8th grade, doing some rockets and some introductory work, and then adding the history component of Oklahoma's amazing aerospace and aviation history. They want to add that component as well. I've been working with them and would love to add them as an AOPA high school and plan to visit with the superintendent more as well. The staff recommends $1,500 for Maysville Public Schools, and I will stand for any questions.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Next, McAllister Public Schools, represented by one of the principals from McAllister High School, Dwayne Hampton.
Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioners, it's my privilege today to represent McAllister High School in our aeronautics program. Currently, we have, as you'll see on the slide, we have Aeronautics 1, 2, and 3. As a matter of fact, as we speak, we are rebuilding our master schedule because we have had such a growing interest in the aeronautics program over these last 2 or 3 years that we are having to create more sections of these classes for kids. We've actually, last night, we were blessed by the city of McAllister. They are loaning us the airport manager for 1 class period a day so our students can actually go to the airport and do hands-on activities with engineering and flight simulators and wind tunnels. As you can see in the picture, Governor Kevin Stitt graced us with a visit this summer, and he tested his skills on the flight simulator there. It was actually kind of funny because the end of his visit, we had all of our aeronautics students were with us, and at the end of his visit, he slid down the banisters at the high school. So you can imagine that my job as assistant principal got infinitely harder because they all think that they have a pardon from the governor. We have used this grant money. We are so appreciative of the OAC grant. You can tell that great things are happening at McAllister, and it is a great day to be a Buffalo pilot. And our kids are interested in these careers. We have over 50 kids who are on track to gain their drone pilot's license by the time they walk out of the building. And this money will impact, our school is roughly about 900 students. And as you can see in the application, it will impact over 500 kids in our school. So this money is well spent and well stewarded. So I will entertain any questions.
Staff recommends $8,000 for McAllister Public Schools.
Well, how many years you been doing this, Mr. Hanson?
This is my 4th year at McAllister High School as assistant principal, so I saw this program in its infancy. And another funny story is, you know, as an assistant principal, you deal with discipline mainly. So I have all these students out in the halls in the same banisters that Governor Stitt slid down, building airplanes and flying them off the top of the 2nd floor. And it took a adjustment for me on that, you know. And so this program, like I said, I've seen it in its infancy, and it is only getting much larger.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Metro Technology Center and FAA Mike Monroney Center that are represented today by Michael Branch and Laura Shepard, or just Michael? Okay.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Michael Branch, just like she said. I'm the new director of the Aviation Careers Campus for Metro Tech. Our partner from the FAA couldn't be here this morning. She's caring for a sick husband. But so it's my job to tell you about our Aviation Careers Exploration Camp. First of all, I want to thank you guys for supporting us for the last, I think, 17 years. We run 2 one-week camps for 7th and 8th graders and exposed them to the many facets of the aviation industry. In the 1 week that they're with us, they will shoot rivets and construct a project out of sheet metal. They'll taxi an aircraft. They'll learn about one of the most forgotten parts of the aviation industry, and that's the fire protection. They get to go over to the fire station and learn how the firemen react in a situation with an accident with an aircraft. They will get to go and fly the full motion flight simulators with the FAA. They learn all the parts of an airplane, some of the physics principles, and a lot of other stuff that goes on. This is something that we look forward to every year. We haven't had a chance, we didn't get to run it the last couple of years because of COVID. So we're excited about the upcoming summer and having these students on our campus. Thank you.
Staff recommends $12,500 for Metro Tech and FAA Mike Monroney. We'll stand for any questions.
Mr. Branch, do you work with the EAA for Young Eagle flights for your students as well?
They do. The EAA and I can't think of the other organization, but they go the Saturday after the camp for the experimental flights.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Branch. Next, Mustang High School, represented today by Tom Garner and Gary Knowles, their aviation program.
Hi, I am Tom Garner, and thank you for having us and hosting this. This is awesome. I head the department which contains our new Science Academy, which proudly hosts our aviation lab and aviation program. We have recently hired a new aviation instructor, which I asked to bring along with me to tell you a little bit about our program. Gary Knowles.
Thanks for having us today. We're proud to be here. Appreciate the past support and the current support. First-year teacher moving from a small business, and so I get to meet the commission before I meet my students tomorrow, but my mentor and department head joined us here. So I think the remarkable thing moving into year 3 of Mustang's program, which uses the AOPA high school curriculum, is that really the program growth. And that slide you're looking at, when we did that about 3 weeks ago, there's been about a 20% increase in that. Year 1, they started with one section, about 21 students. Year 2 was about 64. We're beginning year 3. We were at 102 when we did the slide for the presentation this morning. I checked, we're at 120. So we have 120 students in year 3. We'll be adding Aviation 3 into the Aviation 1, 2, and 3. So we'll have one section, have 10 kids, students in there, one of which I understand have soloed over the summer and is working toward private pilot, and is a young lady as well. So you'll be proud for that, and I think we've got efforts to do to bring the girls into the STEM field. So we really, being new, I think what they're doing is great. The foundation they've laid is real important. So what we need to do is to continue the continuity of that program. And coming from business, I'm excited to be able to bridge the classroom and industry. So a focus for me, not just with your support, but with industry partners, is to create a network so that we can broaden that opportunity for those students. And this grant specifically is going to help us secure supplies and those pieces of E6B flight computers and plotters now that we're growing into those students as they move into Aviation 3. So we appreciate the support and look to continue growing those programs to help aviation in Oklahoma.
Thank you. Staff recommends $2,617 and will stand for any questions for Mustang High School.
Sounds exciting. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, OK Best Robotics, represented today by John Robertson.
Good morning, sirs. I'm John Robertson, representing OK Best Robotics. We are a STEM outreach contest. We accomplish our STEM outreach via a robot building contest. We are like other contests in that we give kids the opportunity to do hands-on work with actual materials. We teach them how to do the documentation. We give them opportunities to not only learn about their robot, but to how that robot can help serve in their various capacities. Our game are programmed out of our initial headquarters, Best Robotics. We are headquartered in Austin, Texas. This year's game is Demolition Days. We're going to teach kids how robots can be best used to help tear things down, how to safely tear things down, how to recycle those materials in appropriate fashions. Key things about OK Best Robotics, we typically see 100 to 120 kids each year. You've graciously provided us with funding before. That funding provides us with game field materials. Game field materials are typically some type of electronics for scoring, PVC pipe, plywood, and just other things that we have tried kids capture. One year we had them trying to capture bumbleballs that were running around. Other years we've had them trying to pick up CDs lying flat on the floor. We had them scoring points by picking those up and putting them in recycle bins. Another key takeaway from OK Best, because of generous funding from organizations like yours, we can provide this contest at no cost to the student teams. So we can help any type of school, from charter schools to underprivileged schools to any type of school out there. We are also very well suited for the COVID situation. Our presentations that we have the kids doing can be done over Zoom. And fortunately, our presentations are well under the Zoom 40-minute limit, so they're able to use no-cost Zoom clients. We're also doing electronic documentation for their robots, their thinking processes, what they learn from the strength of the materials, how they learn to control systems, and things of that nature.
Thank you. Staff recommends $2,000 for OK Best and will stand for any questions.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Robertson.
Thank
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
sirs.
Next, we have Oklahoma Career Tech Foundation, represented by Gina Hubbard, for their OEIP program.
Good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity. The mission of OEIP is to very intentionally bring educators and industry together in an effort to meet the workforce needs of Oklahoma. As many have stated, when our in-person events were canceled in 2020, we flipped our program as well to a virtual delivery platform, and it proved to be very successful. We reached almost 283 educators through a virtual delivery, and it was so popular that we are continuing that every month throughout the school year so that they can tune in, connect with industry, hear success stories from students, and they can do it from 11 to 12 during lunch, and it's just working really well for them. So as we move into 21-22, we will continue this program to provide opportunities for educators. We will have 5 locations across the state, assuming that in-person is available. We're certainly keeping our fingers crossed. We'll continue our monthly sessions. We will continue with our grants. Something new this year that we're doing to increase opportunities is to provide internships for those educators during the summer months so they can really get into an industry setting and spend time and learn what the real workforce needs are and what the skill sets are as they learn about those areas. And so that's something new we're very excited about, and we hope that can work out this summer. We will continue our classroom resources, our connections, and our guest speakers. As you may know, General Ben Robinson developed this program over 10 years ago, and while we have expanded to different industry sectors, this grant specifically allows us to keep a strong focus on the aerospace industry. And so on behalf of the Career Tech Foundation and the Department of Career Tech, we really appreciate your continued support of this program. I'd like to give a shout out to Paula and Michelle. They're awesome to work with, and I just thank you. If you have any more questions, I'd be glad to take them.
Thank you, Gina. The staff recommends $10,000 for the OEIP program, and we'll stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Oklahoma Engineering Foundation is represented today by Adrienne Graham for STEM programming.
Longer than I thought. Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you again for your continued support of the Oklahoma Engineering Foundation. Our programs are they're all STEM focused. Our goal is to promote more engineers throughout the state and keep them within our state once they graduate college. So we do have a scholarship program, but today the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission funding is going towards our student-centered programs. We have a Math Counts program for 6th through 8th grade students. We are actually working with another partner to extend that to bring math mentors for elementary students. The majority of the funding from the Aeronautics Commission will go for our engineering fair, which is a hands-on student learning environment. We have several competitions throughout the day. We host that at the Science Museum, so the funding is actually a double bonus. You are funding students to be able to come to the engineering fair to get hands-on learning with engineers as their mentors, and also helping another nonprofit by sponsoring our entry fee to the Science Museum. So there is a video, the Tonkawa student, last year we did. Oh,
And this is the time that I like crash it and destroy the drone because it's filming.
So we had to go virtual, and this was one of the programs that actually worked really well in a virtual setting because they designed their own, in partnership with the FAA and OSU Stillwater, they designed their own pathway and were able to navigate through that. So that was really fun. So I'm glad it sort of worked at the beginning. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Staff recommends $5,000 for the OEF and its STEM programming, and we'll stand for any questions.
Oh, and our Math Counts team, we have regional competitions. So when we did after state competition, the national team
we usually set up a meeting with the governor, so that's our national team with the governor.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics, represented today by Bill Cool.
Good morning. My name is Bill Keel. I like to think I'm cool, but not real. I represent Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics and have represented them as the Dean of Admissions, but today I get a chance to come before you with a proposal that we feel really helps the students in Oklahoma across the board. So for 30 years, we've been graduating students as one of the leaders in STEM education at OSSM. For the past 25 years, we've provided STEM education to middle school kids here in Oklahoma. And I tell you an example to kind of put a face on this. A recent graduate of ours went to OU, just graduated with his freshman year under his belt, and he now has been working this past summer at Boeing in the aerospace industry as an intern. He started with our math program that we were doing for middle school students. Comes from a minority family, first generation college, et cetera, et cetera. But we are shaping and changing lives, and we're hoping to do that right from the very beginning with our middle school students, not just in Oklahoma City, not just in Tulsa, but across in all 77 counties. The data shows that due to COVID-19, students in Oklahoma, as well as other parts of the United States, fell behind, took serious steps backwards in math and science. And so one of the things that we're trying to do to help remediate that is to add to the programs that we're currently doing. And the programs that we do right now are in the summertime, one-day workshops. We also do a week-long academy. But the additional programs we're looking to do will be on the Christmas holiday break and Thanksgiving breaks. And this will provide students more opportunities to get into math and science, specifically math. We hope to do 8 one-day full workshops, touching the lives of 160 to 200 students. That's, I think, a low estimate. We actually are going to be taking those out to various regions of the state and marketing so that we hopefully will exceed the 200 and bring in students that we can help them with their math skills. And so I just want to say thank you to you all for considering us, and thank you for your support in the past. And we look forward to working and obviously shepherding more students in the future. And wanted to just mention fiscally, we are probably the most fiscally responsible organization in terms of making a dime go the value of a quarter in terms of the way we make it work. But again, we are shaping and changing lives, one life at a time.
All right, thank you very much.
Staff recommends $1,500 and will stand for any questions.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Next, Oklahoma Science and Engineering Foundation and its first LEGO League, represented by Scott Taylor.
Good morning. Thanks for this opportunity to speak with you today. First LEGO League has been a program in Oklahoma for about 13 years now. It serves students ages 9 to 14. We've had lots of our students that have so far gone on to college and entered their careers. It's a program based on a very accessible platform with the LEGO Education EV3, and now there's a new robotics platform that's come out that's called the Spike Prime, and we've been very happy to work with the Aerospace Commission for several years now, and we're glad we have the opportunity to continue that.
Thank you. Staff recommends $2,000 for first, $5,000 for first LEGO League, and then Scott Taylor will also stand and represent the Oklahoma Science and Engineering Foundation for its first Tech Challenge.
So we're very excited about bringing on First Tech Challenge this year. It's an opportunity to continue up from our other program and fill the pipeline all the way up to the senior year for some of these students. There's an overlap. Typically, First LEGO League can go up to students up to ninth grade, and with First Tech Challenge, students can start in as early as 7th grade and make it all the way through their senior year. And that overlap really helps for those students that progress through the program very well and are ready to move up from Legos to something a little bit more challenging. And so First Tech Challenge is going to open up some opportunities for us and for all those students. We inherited this program. It was previously run by Western Oklahoma State University, and their sponsors at the university have since retired, and so we're picking up where they left off and take this opportunity to grow.
Thank you. Staff recommends $2,000 for First Tech Challenge, and obviously will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm happy to represent Oklahoma State University for two different grants. The first one is the Oklahoma State University Middle School Youth Aviation Careers Camp Program. Director Arties and I had the opportunity to visit OU and talk to them about this exciting camp earlier in the spring. It's a camp for 5th through 9th grade students. Day 1, Aviation Management and Security. Day 2, Aerospace Engineering and Aviation. Day 3 will be Space Exploration and Maintenance. And Day 4 will introduce Professional Pilot and Air Traffic Control. So a 4-day camp. Staff recommends $4,740 for the OSU Middle School Camp. And I will stand for any questions.
Has this camp been done before? I mean,
No.
no.
It's a new camp.
Okay.
The second Oklahoma State University program that I would like to speak to is its new Aviation Smartphone App program. It's going to be submitted by OSU's Department of Aviation and Space Education. The Aviation app will be developed by OSU and will be available to high school and college students at the phone app store. The app will be a landing place for aviation STEM activities, resources, and aviation content. It will also provide information on aviation history and about aviation museums, and it will host a section for aviation events and information so those students will know what's going on around the state. So it's a rather new idea. The OSU app, the staff recommends $7,000, and I will stand for any questions.
Is that a free app?
Yes, it's free. And we hope to roll it out. They hope to roll it out with the college aviation students first, and then I will help them roll it out with the schools and the high schools so it's made available and they'll know it's there.
So this could go much larger than the university then?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Still with OSU, we are happy to welcome Dr. Andrew Arena and the well-known Speed Fest program.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. SpeedFest started really with our 15 years of experience in other international competitions. We thought we would bring that experience to Oklahoma, and it started as an opportunity to give college students the most challenging aerospace engineering hands-on design project in the world. I think we've accomplished that. You see those airplanes on the presentation there. Every one of them was designed and built by students, including the jet-powered airplane, designed, built from scratch, all composites. That one was featured on College Game Day. So at the collegiate level, it's been very successful. What we noticed is that we really need to start getting to the students earlier. So we started what's called the India class or invitational class. Before COVID shut us down last year, we had 30 different schools from around the state enrolled take part in that. You see the students lined up there with the gas-powered airplanes. That's an India-class competition. But it also enabled us to develop with NASA an aerospace curriculum. And so I hope to be here next year and hearing other educators talk to you about how they're using the NASA/OAC curriculum in their programs. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, Dr. Arena.
Paul,
Yes, go
how
ahead.
long is this program been going on?
Speedfest.
Go ahead, you speak to me.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Speedfest itself started in 2010, and we started working together, I believe it was 6 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Staff recommends $15,750 for Oklahoma State University and Speedfest. Any other questions? Thank you. Next, Paola Public Schools, represented by Corinne Franklin, for Pugs Soar and Little Pugs Pilots Program.
Good morning. This is going to be our first year at our tiny little rural school. We are looking to incorporate the Civil Air Patrol STEM kits for our elementary students and the AOPA curriculum in our high school. It will be a blended class of 7th, 8th, and 9th graders because our school is so small, so that we have the opportunity to reach as many of our students as possible without taking away from our other programs. We are really excited to get this started, and thank you for all of your support.
Thank you. Staff recommends $10,000 for Paola Public Schools and will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin, appreciate it.
Next, Pauls Valley Public Schools, represented by Mark Green. You Can Fly.
Good morning. Thank you for your patience so far today. Pauls Valley is going to try to start this AOPA class. I want to take just a minute to thank Paula for all the work she's done. If she's done for everyone in this room what she's done for Pauls Valley Schools, I don't know when she's eating and sleeping. She has gone above and beyond to answer questions that we've had just consistently from the beginning.
Thank you.
From the beginning. I'm excited about this. We run about 70 to 80% free and reduced lunch in our community. So many of these kids don't have opportunities to get outside of our little community to see aeronautics happening in larger places. I took my son, forgive me for saying this, out of state to Beechcraft Factory so that he would have an experience, have a former student that's working there, so he would be able to have that opportunity to see that there is an industry out there. I know that doesn't completely speak to your question about the future and when they will be there or not, but it's going to give an opportunity for these kids to see that there actually is something there. I've just been floored with the response from our community already. I've been approached with a gentleman who wants to go ahead and give our kids flights. We don't even have the program off the ground, hadn't had a first day, and I've got volunteers doing those kind of things. So this grant will allow us to get a simulator to give the kids more of a hands-on activity. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to do some field trips, get some pictures of the kids outside of the classroom. In our town, that's very newsworthy things, and that will get a kind of a groundswell is what I'm hoping to get this program running and to get us to where we can institute the 4-year program.
Excellent. Thank you. Pauls Valley is recommended for $5,000 and will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Sounds like a good start.
Thank you very much. Next, Ponca City Regional Airport, represented today by Dawn Newsom, Northern Oklahoma Flight Academy. Is Dawn here? You know? Ponca City Airport is a repeat program, and they've done beautiful work in providing the Ponca City Regional Airport Flight Academy Camp. It's an annual 1-week summer aviation experience for middle and high school students and will be held at the airport. The program is in its 16th year. and is established on sound math and science principles and interactive hands-on activities for students. It's estimated that 36 students will attend. The amount recommended is $8,400, sorry. Forgive me. And I will stand for any questions for Ponca City Regional Airport. Seeing none, I'm happy to introduce to you Poto Public Schools today. With Jamie Hackler will speak to you. Jamie is another new AOPA high school teacher, and Poto Public Schools in eastern Oklahoma will be offering AOPA curriculum there.
Hello, good morning. I want to echo what the gentleman from Pauls Valley said about Miss Paula over here. She's been unbelievably helpful, and so we very much appreciate her and appreciate you guys as well. So thank you for hearing us out. I'm representing Poto High School. We are a flagship program here. We're jumping in with the AOPA curriculum, and what we will do with the money is we're going to get the flight simulator in our school. We already have a few drones that some kids have been playing with in another class that we've been working on, and I'm actually going to be the teacher for this program, and I can tell you just from going through the training myself, I'm very excited. So side note, I'm excited what I'm going to learn and plan to take that on. I've had lots of contact from the community, and let me let you know, if you didn't know, Poto is home of the Balloon Fest, and we have a beautiful Balloon Fest in the fall, and Poto is a very beautiful area. And just sitting here listening to all these presentations today has been really good for me. My gears are turning. I'm going, oh my goodness, this could go here, this could go there. There's tons of engineering opportunities, and so I know that the rural area that we're in can really benefit from this program. So thank you for it, and we plan to really kick it off and get it in a high gear.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hackler. The staff recommends $6,550 for Poto Public Schools, and will stand for any questions.
Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We're glad to have today Pryor Public Schools represented by David Day, Aviation and Aeronautics.
I represent Pryor Public Schools. We've used the AOPA curriculum for 3 years. This will be our first year applying for an OAC grant, Currently we have 30 students in year 1 because the program's built. We have 10, if you want to continue on with the clicker on that, it might go on a little bit more there. We have 2 sections. We had to create 2 sections this year. Aviation 2, we have 10 students. In Aviation 3, we have 3 that are all going the flight pathway. We are in our fourth year. We're considering using Tango Flight, which is a program where students will build their own airplane. They'll build an RV-12. We're going to partner with Mid-America on that to provide a place to house that airplane because we can't put it in our school. It actually, and if you want to go into the next slide, we purchased 2 flight simulators already. We currently have 6 in our school. And then go into the next slide. We're actually partnering also with Flat Rock Field to provide flight training for our students at a discounted rate. They're creating their own foundation to create that. Mid-America will provide space to keep the plane if we do go with the Tango Flight piece. We're actually having conversations with them next week. And then we're also looking at Cherokee Nation Aerospace and Defense to provide mentors for our students for that program. We're going to use the OAC grant funds. We currently have 2 pilots and 1 aerospace engineer on staff that run our program. And we are going to use that to send them to the AOPA Symposium in Orlando. And then we're also using that to provide headsets and GLIME manuals for our students to check out and check back in yearly.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Staff recommends $6,000 for Pryor Public Schools, and will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Day.
You're welcome.
Putnam City High School Junior ROTC and its Air Force ROTC program that serves 200 students, and in particular, it has an honors program that serves students that are directly headed for university ROTC programs. It's been named a distinguished ROTC program for the past several years, and many students have received full Air Force ROTC scholarships from Putnam City High School and its program. The staff recommends $8,000 for Putnam City High School, and I will stand for any questions. Thank you. Next is Redeemed Flying Corps, represented today by Steve Russell.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm Steve Russell, retired soldier, former congressman, and currently serving as pastor. In my previous lives, I worked a number of national aviation issues, including severe pilot shortages in both military, commercial, and general aviation. And let's see what I do, just hit enter to, yeah, we got it. Thank you. I obtained my pilot license 2 years ago and now seek to use those skills for good. And with that in view, I formed the Redeemed Flying Corps last year. Our mission is to create pilots and aviation mechanics to help meet critical shortfalls in both missionary and general aviation. Our organization is a 501c3 nonprofit headquartered here in Oklahoma, and we're governed by a 7-director board of engineers, pilots, law enforcement, and former military. I serve as the executive director. Our organization consists of a headquarters, a central flying school, and the #1 squadron, with the goal to expand the squadrons to other states while remaining headquartered here in Oklahoma. With no staff overhead or salaries, our volunteers operate the squadrons and give time, skills, assets to reduce cost of aviation training. The greatest prohibitor, next slide please, to young people learning to fly is expense. We reduce it with a volunteer Part 61 ground school, volunteer flight instructors, and donations from supporters. In addition to our air assets, we built a state-of-the-art flight simulator, which you see in the lower left picture. That is an actual simulator. It's very advanced. We train the procedures, pattern work, and basics in a simulator to save vital flight time and fuel to master flying skill. We currently have 8 flying and 2 mechanic students. 5 of them are teenagers. All of them are under 30. 3 of our teenagers have soloed. 1 has received her pilot license. She's 18. 3 of our teenagers, or we currently have 7 students logging flight time toward their license as we speak. Our aircraft has also been used to train 2 Burmese pilots that have come from the field with volunteer instructors. One thing my political life taught me is plenty of money flows out for intended good causes. Many times it never gets to its intended purpose. The benefit of investing with our program is we are actually conducting aeronautical training. The best way to inspire young people toward aviation is to train them to fly. Thank you for your kind consideration.
Thank you. Staff recommends $7,500 for Redeemed Flying Corps, and will stand for any questions.
I think we're good.
Okay. Roland Public Schools, represented by Stephen O'Neill. Drones, programming for the future.
Good morning, Commissioners. I want to say thank you for the opportunity and the consideration of our proposal. We are a small school, eastern part of Oklahoma, right on the edge of the state, and first-year applicant. Our plan is to introduce students to programming using drones in the classroom. We want our students to be able to learn some basic aviation terminology, flight principles, be able to know the history of drones and the technology behind it. We want them to be able to learn to manually pilot the drone, as well as to be able to program it to operate autonomously. And at the end of our program, we're wanting to challenge them through obstacle courses, through the drones, work with the drones. Through all of this, we also want to be able to expose them to possible career paths in aviation. And so what we're planning to purchase is the Tello-EDU drone TIMPAC that you see on the screen, and comes with the accessories that we will be needing. Thank you.
Staff recommends $2,695 for Roland Public Schools and will stand for any questions.
Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Rose State College, represented by Travis Hurst.
Good morning. Thank you for your time and your continued support. For more than 10 years, Rose State College has offered an aerospace camp where we have focused on building interest and skills in aerospace and aviation industry and the background that students would need. This year, we expect to expand those interests and skills to include aviation management and airframe and power plant aviation mechanic type emphasis in that camp. Our instructors are very high quality. They include a former Navy pilot and a nationally recognized robotics instructor. Our emphasis are on those STEM skills that are direct impacts for aerospace and aviation. Additionally, we will include advanced manufacturing and 3D printing in the camp in this following year. One of the things that we like to emphasize with the aerospace camp is the importance of the history of aerospace and aviation in the state of Oklahoma. So we also include field trips and different historical impacts that the field has had in this state. Again, thank you for your continued support for our program.
Thank you very much. Staff recommends $4,000 for Rose State College and will stand for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst.
Thank you.
Seminole High School is represented today by Michaela Plett. Seminole also one of our new AOPA high schools.
Good morning, or afternoon, I guess now. So the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission grant is going to allow our Seminole High School aviation program to take flight. As Paula said, this is going to be our first year doing this program. This is going to, the support from the OAC is going to allow our students to have the opportunity to immerse themselves in a project-based learning environment focused on aeronautics, aerospace, and aviation. This grant is going to enhance the AOPA curriculum, helping to provide project supplies, virtual cockpits, and professional development. This year, we will also work with Gordon Cooper for field trips to their facility, and we're planning to visit the FAA facility. Seminole Schools is thrilled to be providing students with this project-based learning that will offer multiple future career pathways, and are so thankful for the support from the OAC to assist with our mission.
Thank you, Michaela. Staff recommends $6,500 for Seminole High School, and we'll stand for any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Oklahoma City Southeast High School Junior ROTC, represented by Stephen Fausick.
Hello, I'm Chief Master Sergeant Stephen Fausick, retired from Southeast High School, Air Force JROTC. A little about Southeast High School. We have 900 students. 80 of them are in our aerospace science program. 100% of our students are in free and reduced lunch. And even though they face many struggles and challenges, they exceed and they excel. We're currently ranked 15 out of over 400 high schools in the state. So we're very proud of that. The goal of our program is to develop citizens and character. We do that through integrity, service, and excellence. I'm here asking for assistance to start our drone program for our Air Force JROTC cadets in the classroom and after school. The goal of that is for them to get their drone certification and get an interest in flying activities. Thank you for your time.
Staff recommends $2,900 for Southeast High School, and will stand for any questions.
Sounds good, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. Southeastern Oklahoma State University, represented by Elizabeth Resch.
Good morning, Commission, and thank you very much. My name is Elizabeth Resch, and I'm here on behalf of the Aviation Sciences Institute with Southeastern Oklahoma State University. This is a summer camp that we have been doing now for several years, and this will be my 3rd year of involvement with the camp, 2nd year serving as the director. This camp allows us to encourage our local youth in the rural area in southern Oklahoma and North Texas to provide them with an opportunity to see and get their hands on with aviation. This is a week-long camp. They are there with our current aviation students. They are given the opportunity for a discovery flight, weather permitting, with one of our staff flight instructors as well. This grant has been a great help over the years for us getting this camp underway by helping us provide food and lodging for the students for the week.
Thank you. Staff recommends $6,500 for Southeastern and will stand for any questions.
I notice this goes back to at least 2015?
Yes, sir, I believe so. That was before my time there, but I believe it's at least that long.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. Next, Stafford Air and Space Museum, represented by Max Airy.
Good morning. First of all, I admire your endurance a great deal. My name is Max Airy. I'm the director of the Stafford Air and Space Museum. As you probably, many of you know, we are going through currently about an $8 million expansion and renovation of the entire museum, which in the new 20,000 square foot addition that you can see in this picture, there'll be nearly 400 new Air and Space Museum exhibits that we're currently in under development. We're also working toward getting our, what we like to refer to as our new staff airplane, which is an F-117 stealth fighter that should be in place by this next spring. The museum, some of you may know, some years ago, the Smithsonian approached us about becoming one of their only official affiliates of the National Air and Space Museum, which we are. And also we're very proud that our development has meant that TripAdvisor, the world's leading travel advisory, has made us one of only 3 air and space museums in the entire country to receive their 5-star rating. And so that's what we're building on, and we're just now beginning. As I said, we've added on, but we're also renovating virtually the entire facility, including a STEM area for a lot of hands-on exhibits for not only kids, but adults alike. And part of that is to upgrade, some much-needed upgrade of 15 flight simulators that are publicly accessible, but also, of course, first priority are the students that come in. And those simulators are now almost 9 years old and been handled by, I'm estimating, we said about 10,000 students. It's probably closer to about 40,000 people who have used those, and so they're really worn out. And so we're asking for your help for $20,000 toward the replacement of those flight simulators, and then that is also going to be matched with from a donor to let us further do everything we need for that upgrade. So we appreciate your help and support.
Thank you. Staff recommends $20,000 for Stafford Air and Space. We'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Terry.
Next, Starbase Oklahoma, represented today by Michael Barlayer.
Good morning. My name is Mike Barlayer. I'm the new Deputy Director for Starbase Oklahoma, and we are a DoD program that supports 5th grade students across the state. We have 4 sites that service over 200 classrooms. We also have a middle school program called 2.0. We have 9 schools that we participate in, and we have several summer outreach programs. We try to focus on all STEM activities. We have, Bernoulli's principles, Newton's laws, and lots of rocketry, whether it's straw rockets or Estes model rockets. We've had your support in the past, so thank you very much for that. Some of the things that you've helped sponsor is a plethora of Estes model rockets, our mission logs for the students to use through the programs, ID tags, as well as our graduation coin. Have you folks seen the graduation coin in the past? I'd like to share one with you. It has your logo as well as ours. You know, with the military, you know, they have these graduation coins with a handshake when they move up, and our students are, as far as I'm aware, the only star-based program that has that honor.
Staff recommends $25,000 for Starbase Oklahoma and will stand for any questions.
Starbase has been doing a good job for a very long time. We're pleased to be involved.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The 99's Museum of Women Pilots, represented today by Shaylin Sawyer.
Hi, I'm Shaylin. I represent the 99's Museum of Women Pilots. I'm their museum manager. What we try to do at the 99's Museum of Women Pilots, sorry, it's a long title, we try to inspire every visitor that comes in, and it doesn't matter the age. This museum is unique in that it's one of the 5 out of the Earth, internationally, however you want to say it, museum women pilots that is just only focused on women's. However, when we do bring programs in school kids groups or do the traveling trunk to schools, we also talk about the entire history of aviation, also into aerospace. What we're having issues with right now and what we're trying to help with the program or with the proposal is our program for fueling future aviators. And what we're going to focus on is 4th grade to 12th grade and try to get them inspired to be in the aviation field or aerospace field somehow, because a lot of our 99's members are also representative throughout different careers in the field. So we have a good background as to how to promote and inspire and also educate, but we need the 21st century skills to do it. So we need the flight simulator, things like upgraded like that, and advancements towards within our museum, and most importantly within our Penny Nagy Youth Education Center. That's where the program is also being focused. The majority of that education goes through the process in our education center, whereas our exhibits are just mostly for promoting women and their feats throughout the years, their record breakings or first women to do this or, you know, fly this. But we also as well try to tell the history into aerospace. So we don't just focus on aviation, but we also try to incorporate aerospace since it's so important, since everything is so involved now. So.
Thank you very much. Staff recommends $6,000 for the 99's Museum of Women's Pilots and will stand for.
How many does this serve?
The flight program?
This asks for $6,000. We're able, on all the others, we're able to say, all right, the ask is this much and it serves X number of students or X number of people.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I apologize about that. We're looking to bring in like different groups that we've always brought in before. Girl Scouts, Boys and Girls Club, the EA, Young Eagles. There's also various, where we're out near Will Rogers Airport, there's also a community of schools throughout. There's Mustang, Yukon, Oklahoma City, Putnam City, Western Heights. We also have near Newcastle as well. So we're kind of like in a central location, so we're also trying to hopefully bring in all these students.
Do we have an estimated number of people?
Oh, sorry. Between like, hopefully we're looking to do like 1,500 students like overall throughout the program, sorry. Because we've already had so many, over the 3 years I've been at the 99's Museum, we've already had so many field trips and homeschools, and then also just like I mentioned before, Girl Scouts and Boys and Girls Club. I've already seen 600 students since the 3 years and COVID didn't help that 1 year, but we were able to do things virtual still, so.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Ms. Sawyer.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Tulsa Community Work Advance, represented by Gail Harrington.
Good morning, Commission. Thank you so much for all your support for Tulsa Community Work Advance and for continuing to support us. We are a proven sector-based program. Our focus is on providing aerospace and manufacturing businesses with credentialed certified workers so that they can continue to thrive and grow in their businesses. At the same time, we're providing underprivileged Tulsa residents with the training they need to get credentials and start a career path to hopefully the goal is to help them break the generational cycle of poverty for them and their families. We work with employers to create customized short-term technical training programs so that they can quickly get the credentialed skilled workers that they need. And our main focus for these, for the aeronautics and aerospace industries are CNC machinist and shipping, receiving, and warehousing types of jobs. These are, again, shortened trainings, and in the past grant cycles, we have partnered with over 20 aerospace companies, including Nordam, Horizon, Accurus, and Mingo Manufacturing. And again, we thank you so much for your consideration for our programs and helping us bridge that skills gap so that these companies and manufacturing and aerospace industries can get the workers they need and also help the people who need the skills get the jobs that they need.
Thank you. Staff recommends $12,500 for Tulsa Community Work Advance, and we'll stand for any questions.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming today.
And last but not least, the University of Oklahoma Sooner Flight Academy, represented today by April Williams.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commission. I'm so happy to be here on behalf of the University of Oklahoma and Sooner Flight Academy. Our program has been around since the late 80s. We've served over 40,000 students. If you look at the picture on the left corner, that's my stepdaughter, Miranda. She did her touch and go and pattern work flight last week with me in the back seat. It's one thing to be a parent and to teach your kid to drive. It's another thing to be in the back seat of the aircraft as your kid does pattern work and touch and goes. She did an amazing job, and it's because of Sooner Flight Academy that she had that opportunity. The second picture to the left is my stepson with the model aircraft. He is going to be a freshman at Moore High School, and he would also like to be a pilot. You'll see several pictures of SUNY, as well as in the left corner. I don't know if you guys have ever made oobleck personally at home. Do you guys know what oobleck is? It's a non-Newtonian fluid that you can run on, but also is a liquid. So when you run on it, it becomes a solid. And when you play with it, it's a liquid. So in that pool is a 6-foot pool with about 300 ounces of oobleck. Pretty fun. I wanted to be on the world record, but apparently some university does that in a pool. I wanted to thank the commission. You guys have supported us for several decades. And due to COVID, we were only able, because of University of Oklahoma protocol with the size of our classrooms and our Sooner Flight Academy space, to limit the people who could come on site to 180. Prior to that, every year we have 450 with the goal next summer of 600 students. A lot of the funds you give to us support those orientation flights, short cross-country flights, long cross-country flights, and touch and go and pattern work. Things that our students love to do are our STEM competitions. So things they really enjoyed doing this past summer were drone competitions in partnership with STEM Pilot. We have an egg drop challenge, which is pretty fun. A lot of people are used to, where you build a device to be able to cushion that egg and survive some engineering skills. Hot air balloon challenges, as well as working together as teams to do flight planning. And all of this is done with our certified flight instructors from the University of Oklahoma. As you guys may know, we have over 20 aircraft, we have simulators, we have several certified flight instructors that you see in the middle picture, which is by the SUNY mascot. So we have Reese, Aiden, Brady, Jenny Bailey, Megan, and Ryan, all of which are pilots and or related to aviation professionals. Megan, who is by Ryan, who is very tall, who this summer was our 6'4" SUNY mascot, and last summer due to COVID, I was our 5'4" SUNY mascot, which is very confusing to the kids. But Megan's grandfather was the director of our aeronautics program at the University of Oklahoma 3 directors ago. I really just appreciate your support. We couldn't do it without you. I want to offer everyone in the room for us to be the summer spot and location to consider for our summer program. We run camps June, July, and August. We will be looking at overnight camps this next summer. We also have integrated drone as well as more space into our programs. We also seek to do specialized camps next summer because there is a lot of interest in drones and space. And we would like to offer our Eagles to a second camp week so that they can do more ground school work. So you guys ask about statistics. You gave 100 scholarships this past summer. Prior to that, you gave 150 full scholarships, which normally are partial scholarships. That led to people coming to camp that would have never come to camp before, especially from rural areas, as well as students who have autism or Asperger's syndrome and were on the spectrum, feeling more comfortable to come to virtual camp and now in-person camp. Our Eagles 2 is our last camp, and we just graduated 20 students on site in person last week. And of those campers, 50% will become pilots. About 40% of that 50% want to go on to ROTC, the Navy or the Air Force. 25% of those graduates will be aerospace engineers, and the other 25% in the STEM profession. And that's because of you. And personally, I'm a professor at the University of Oklahoma. I support our non-fly management program, so it's my goal, as well as the faculty advisor for the Women in Aviation chapter, the Sooner Flight chapter of Women in Aviation, to get more women in the program, because we only had 10% female students this summer, which is, I need to get some inspiration from Cameron to fix that, so that's just unacceptable to me personally. But again, thank you guys so much for everything throughout the years. Paula is your best jewel, and she's a really personal friend, and actually taught my fiance in high school. And so he is a drone pilot. He does river surveys with drones. Thanks again for everything.
Thank you so much, April. Staff recommends $45,000 for the University of Oklahoma Sooner Flight Academy, and we'll stand for any other questions.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, commissioners, for being willing to listen to this remarkable list of programming. It's all I can do as a former teacher not to stand up and applaud the work that is obviously going to be done this year in the state of Oklahoma. I would put it up against anyone else because it's remarkable when you hear the wide range of programming, and I thank you for your support and for you understanding the value of what this does across the state of Oklahoma. Director, I will yield to you for any comments.
Test, test. All right, thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the amazing team that puts on this meeting, but also all the meetings. You heard the accolades from Paula. It's really been a team, and I don't know, is Michelle? I think Michelle's in the back of the room here. So Paula and Michelle are really the two individuals that need to have a huge round of applause for this particular event. Because I've seen how hard they've worked in the last 3, 5, 6 weeks. They've been bugging me left and right trying to get these recommendations out the door. And I can tell you Tinker Air Force Base would be proud of this logistical feat that we had here today, because it was a logistical feat that we were able to do. And really just amazingly proud of the team, amazingly proud of the applicants we had this year. We were blown out of the water as we were going through these different applications. The amount of new applicants, the amount of energy that we have for aviation aerospace. There has been no better time to be in this industry in the state of Oklahoma right now, and we need to capitalize on it. We need to capitalize on it for a multitude of reasons. One is for the industry. Without the workforce that hopefully these kids are going to become a part of, the industry is going to suffer. But two, it's just for the state of Oklahoma to be proud as a citizen of the state of Oklahoma that these kinds of opportunities are going to allow our kids to go get educated, join a career that's well-paying, by the way, $73,000 a year average annual salary for an aviation aerospace worker, and be able to stay right here in Oklahoma, raise a family, own a house, and go through the life cycle and hopefully educate their kids into joining aviation aerospace careers. So it's a proud moment for me personally. I am a byproduct of aviation, the summer camps. I've been to probably at least 4 or 5 of these different summer camps throughout my career growing up, and seeing how they have grown, expanded, become more diverse. I wish we had drones. Well, maybe not. I would have crashed a few of them back in the day. But I wish we would have had drones back when I was learning, because that would have lit up my eyes. And so I'm really proud of the team that we have, proud of Paula and Michelle. Thank you for everything that you've done. And yes, we have gone through quite the meeting, although this might be a record in getting this wrapped up by 12:06, given that we had 50 applicants. So thank you for the applicants for participating today. Thank you for Paula and Michelle and all the work that you've done, and thank you to the rest of the OAC team for putting this on, and thank you to the ODOT team for hosting us and having the assistance to make this the meeting that it is.
Well, I see we have some action required here. We have a lot of recommendations. I would recommend to the commission that we consider them as a whole. And I'm willing to entertain a motion for approval of all of the amounts presented today.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Commissioner Potter,
Aye.
Commissioner Conway,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Commissioner Rainey,
Aye.
Chairman Putnam,
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter.
I think I have to abstain because I'm on the board of directors of one or more of those organizations.
Thank you.
If we'd done them individually, I wouldn't have to abstain on all of them.
Understand.
Thank you.
Okay, concluding remarks, Director?
I believe you had those concluding remarks a little earlier.
All right.
May have hopped up a little bit, but thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am done.
Would I say one more thing?
By all means.
Okay, so on October the 4th, 1957, they launched Sputnik. And I was a high school student at Shakota High School in Oklahoma. And the National Science Foundation was founded in 1950. And they founded the first ever summer academies for high school students the following year in 1958. And there were 5 girls and 21 boys selected throughout the United States to attend that first ever National Science Foundation Summer Academy at Oklahoma State University in chemical engineering. I was one of those students. I didn't have a telephone at my house. I don't even think I don't even know. My high school teacher nominated me. And the National Science Foundation called me. They got me out of history class to go to the principal's office. And I answered the telephone. I went home and I said, Daddy, I have an opportunity this summer to go to a summer academy, all expenses paid, like mine are. I've never charged a single student for anything. He said, well, you know what this means, don't you? You're not going to be here to do the cotton this summer.
Darn.
And I said, it's really important. It was 6 weeks long, all paid for by National Science Foundation. I went to that academy. There were 5 girls, 21 boys. There were 26 of us in the academy. I came home at the end of that 6 weeks, got my picture on the front page of the Shakota, those McIntosh County Democrat, and a slide reel with my name engraved on it, and I never looked back. I got a scholarship to go on and get my degree, went on then and I couldn't get a job when it wasn't too good for women in those days to get a job, but I went back then and I got a BS in chemical engineering, went back and got my PhD in chemistry, and I've been teaching ever since. But I want to tell you, that's what an impact that these summer academies can have, and I've seen it. You asked for statistics. I have them, because I follow my kids all their life, ask him. But thank you. All of these academies that they talked about today, you don't know how many lives are changed and inspired by that. And I'm an example of that. Without that, and National Science Foundation, because of that, invited me to serve on their 50th anniversary celebration. By the way, I went on to become the president of the American Chemical Society, and I was appointed as the first ever representative to Pacifichem, first woman, and lots of others. And I've spoken in 27 different countries. But it all came about from that summer academy. We drove up in front of Murray Hall in the pickup, and I was riding in the back because we had a 3-seater. And the baby had to be in the front seat, and all the kids, and I didn't have a suitcase, carried it in a cardboard box, but I didn't care because I was treated the same as all those other kids in that academy. It makes a difference. So thank you again for all you do for supporting aviation. This is awesome. I wish my administration could be here to hear it because they don't know. Half of Oklahoma doesn't know what goes on with you guys. This is awesome. Thanks again for all you do.
I'd like to announce the next meeting, but I have lost the date, so we may meet in the twilight zone.
Yeah, that's very possible, very possible. October 6th. Yeah, October 6th, same time, same location.
October 6th it is then. Okay. Any new business which would have not be recently foreseen more than 24 hours ago? Hearing none, I call for adjournment. Thank you, everyone.